The Association of Plastic Surgeons says the UK's unregulated cosmetic surgery is a crisis waiting to happen and must be regulated before there is another death. It follows an investigation into the scandal by ITV News, broadcast last month, which prompted a string of other victims to come forward and tell us about their own horrific experiences. One woman told us how a liposuction procedure had gone horribly wrong and led to her being hospitalised several times. Another revealed that she was left disfigured after undergoing breast filler treatment. And a mother described how her daughter had nearly died after surgery. All of them, like many senior surgeons, are calling for the law to be changed urgently to make it safer and so people can be held to account. A warning that this special report from Cree Summer Horton contains images of those botched procedures which you may well find disturbing.
Last month, ITV News exposed backstreet cosmetic surgeries happening across the country. We investigated unsafe practices at a one-day liposuction training course in London.
And we damaged with our students 2 times nerves and 1 time artery.
Talked to victims.
Up their cupboards, there was someone else's blood splashed.
And spoke to surgeons who were in disbelief.
I've been a doctor for over 22 years now. I never thought in my lifetime I'd see something like that. It actually disgusts me, to be honest.
Since our report went out, we've had an influx of people come forward with horror stories about procedures leaving them hospitalised. Jo was one of those women. She had a liposuction procedure at a different clinic than we first featured. She was hospitalised multiple times and her health is still suffering.
She said, no, it's not liposuction because I'm not a surgeon. It's micro-liposuction using a cannula. It was about this big. She stuck it in my stomach and it was the most horrendous pain I've ever been in. She just basically went in like a butcher.
The next day, still in agony, Jo reluctantly went to the hospital where doctors found an infection taking hold.
The doctor said that in all of her training she's never seen bruising as bad as what that is for such a light procedure, what it was supposed to be. And she couldn't even examine me because I was in so much pain.
It took weeks, but eventually Jo's infection cleared up and the huge black bruises faded. But her anger and betrayal has not.
I absolutely cannot look at myself at all. I have no mirrors in my bedroom now because of the damage that she's done. Every single day, without fail, I will have the feeling of that needle. I can feel it now, I can feel it going through. It's just absolutely awful.
At the moment, there's little to no regulation when it comes to cosmetic treatments in the UK, with one-day training courses being the industry standard to become qualified. Breast filler is another procedure we've had people contact us about, often advertised on the market as a lunchtime treatment with little to no downtime. Instead of inserting an implant, practitioners inject large amounts of filler.
And this was, see, I know, it's so graphic, but I was not exaggerating. My nipple was literally detached from my breast. And I had to walk around like that for 8 to 10 weeks.
Shauna knows only too well what can happen when a procedure performed by a non-medic goes wrong. At a different clinic, Shauna had breast filler, which left her disfigured. Shauna almost died from an infection, leaving 3 children without their mother.
At this point, I'm past coping because the pain is just, I'm still crying, shaking. And I remember sitting on the hospital couch and all I could hear was shouting. And it was the surgeon. Who on earth sent her home? Do you not realise she's dying? And next thing, he came racing back. He bust open the curtains. And he had this yellow form and he goes, you need surgery, I need you to sign this.
The lack of regulation leaves victims like Shauna unable to hold anyone to account. Louise Muller had bum filler last year at a different clinic in Essex. It was a procedure that left her close to death.
I've been busy.
You have been busy.
Her mother Janet has been fighting on behalf of Louise to see somebody prosecuted.
I felt that they didn't understand the procedure.
No.
They didn't understand why I felt it was illegal and why an assault had taken place. The police station started out not taking me on board. They said that it wasn't a criminal offence, that a consent form was signed. It was to the point where they asked me to leave the police station on 5 occasions.
And it's taken 6 visits, it's taken multiple occasions of people telling you that basically just go home.
Yeah. Go home and forget about it. It's your own fault.
The government say they're looking into introducing new legislation, but leading surgeons say they need to move faster.
This was a crisis waiting to happen. We have spoken for years about the dangers of not regulating it, of having anyone and everyone have access to these products, anyone and everyone doing so-called training courses, and ultimately putting people at risk.
And we explain everything, and we have...
Until new legislation is introduced, training providers like this will continue to operate in plain sight, with little chance of repercussions. Creasy Mahorton,